to the most exciting news that you'll have today. This is Earth News.
Earth News. You know, we switched to Find Funny News, but not all news is funny. Nah, we changed our name to Earth News. Back from Find Funny News, which was originally Earth News, which before that was worldwide news.
That was Dover Shermer worldwide news.
Yeah. So,
And then we decided that Earth News was better. All right, that's right. So if you want to write in, send us your checks and everything, go ahead and write them to the studio. We'll take everything.
you can sign them to Brad Crandall too if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. But should we start this episode with something out of this world?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
Well, we have streaks in Montana were believed to be an old Russian fuel tank. So experts said that streaks seen in the sky over Montana were most likely from an old Russian rocket returning to Earth. Witnesses captured video and photos when flaming objects streaked across the sky over Montana and were seen as far away as Idaho, Wyoming, and Oregon. Specifically, researchers with spaceweather.com said the streaks were most likely space junk, specifically the fuel tank from a Russian rocket. Shortly before the explosion over Montana, the U.S. Department of Defense Space Track website issued a trajectory impact prediction message for the object. The object, the Breeze M fuel tank, was part of Russia's Yamal 402 geostationary communication satellite. The tank has been orbiting since December 8th, 2012. So it's said there were no reports of the tank making landfall, but so it burned up in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Speaking about Montana, there was that big Chinese balloon.
Yep.
Was it Chinese? I don't know.
Are we talking about the one over Myrtle Beach?
Yeah. Ended up just drifting.
Started over Montana.
Whatever, yeah.
And just made its way over there. Just
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Also, stay out of Ohio because there was a toxic train spill, where vinyl chloride spilled everywhere and it got lit on fire. And now it's terrible.
This didn't really make that big a news. It was more, the Super Bowl was bigger news than this one is, and this is kind of a big freaking deal.
Yeah, they're saying it could be like the Chernobyl of America.
Well, they're saying that Captain Planet, if this is the case, needs to come back out and rescue us from the rest of the acid rain.
With our forces combined.
Too bad I threw away that ring. I thought we didn't need it anymore.
From that cereal box, right?
Yeah.
Well, to lighten it up a little bit, there was a brutal moment a traveler realized that he messed up his plans.
Oh.
So he was going to go down under to Sydney, Australia, but then he spotted snow-capped mountains and realized he was going to Montana.
He was going to Montana again. Jesus, Montana's all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A traveler's dream of the land down under quickly turned into an absolute blunder when he realized he'd book a flight to Sydney instead of Sydney, Australia, Sydney, USA. It was a New Yorker. Kingsley Burnett was hoping to escape, and
Didn't he notice that the flight was like $1,000 cheaper than?
No, you can't think stupid.
Yeah, it's like, go to the Sydney in the U.S. It's like the Sydney, Australia one was like $1,100. Right. He was like, I got tickets to Australia for $200, and they didn't even check my passport.
What if there's a correlation between him taking the wrong flight and the weird patterns in the sky?
Yeah, he's like all him. He's like, I blame the moon.
I know, right?
But
something's going on.
Something weird's going on because a rare orange lobster has been found in a shipment at Florida's Red Lobster. An extremely rare orange lobster was spared the dinner plate at a Red Lobster restaurant in Florida and will have a new permanent home in an aquarium. Ripley's Aquarium in Myrtle Beach, back to Myrtle Beach, there we go, callback, South Carolina, said it was contacted by managers at the Red Lobster in Hollywood, Florida, after workers discovered the orange lobster in a shipment. The lobster's orange coloring is believed to be from a mutation that occurs in only 1 out of 30 million lobsters. So very rare. And the unusual crustacean was named Cheddar in honor of Red Lobster's biscuits. And sometimes ordinary miracles happen, and Cheddar is one of them, Red Lobster manager Mario Roque said in a news release from Ripley's. A group of incredible people helped us make this possible. We are so honored to have Cheddar saved and his biscuits. No. They said Cheddar will be on display soon at the Myrtle Beach Aquarium, and they are very proud of Mario and the team at Red Lobster for finding and reporting this anomaly.
They're thinking about changing their name to Orange Lobster.
This is true.
I think the Orange Lobster name change is disinformation.
That's right. That's right. We're spreading disinformation. Right?
Disregard that second part right now.
Cut that out.
But check this out. Speaking about like cheddar and biscuits and just products that you eat normally.
Boom.
Teacher arrested for biting 2 students over a jar of pickles. You know, I know some people are defensive of their pickles.
Well, wait a sec. Didn't we report like a few episodes ago that this guy like ran over his best friend because he put mayo on a sandwich?
Oh, yes.
Don't mess with people's food.
No, people get angry.
People get mad.
Florida teachers facing misdemeanor battery charges after allegedly biting 2 students over a jar of pickles. Rhonda Rice, last name's Rice, told school administrators that she was playing around with students. A Polk Country Public Schools spokesperson said. Blah, blah. Authorities didn't find it funny.
I thought it was funny.
Kathy Toro's 15-year-old nephew is a student.
She was sour about it.
Took place. Was less than impressed with Rice's version of a joke. She thinks she needs to learn what she did, and what she did was wrong. And yes, they really fought over the jar of pickles. Toro's nephew and another student said to be working at the school store when Rice attempted to take the jar. The nephew and the other student tried to take the jar back, which is when Rice got her chompers out. She bit them on the forearm. And of course, they released, and she was able to get the pickles.
She got the pickles. And the pickles. And the pickles.
Yeah, so, I mean, the student didn't think it was funny. She got bit and went to the administrators over the issue. And Rice was put on paid leave while the county administrators performed a review.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
don't fake bite people's forearms to get their pickles, people.
And don't steal people's pickles.
And don't steal pickles. Unless unless you're offering to open the jar for them.
It's like you don't take a bone out of a dog's mouth. You don't take a pickle out of anybody's mouth.
Yep. And speaking of being, shocked over pickles and being bit, that the BBC was shocked as non-stop porn noises are heard over the FA Cup coverage. So during the BBC One's coverage in the FA Cup match between the Wolverhampton Wanderers and Liverpool, Gary Lineker had difficulty maintaining his composure when loud sounds began playing as they were preparing to pass the commentary to Alan Shearer. This is when the strange noises started. I don't know who's making that noise, Lineker said through laughter. As Shearer appeared on screen, wearing a winter coat and hat, Lineker said, I mean, it's toasty in the studio. It's a bit noisy as well. Now, we could try to show the footage.
We've an FA Cup winners only policy in the studio tonight. And I don't know who's making that noise, but Alan Shearer is on the commentary gantry alongside Steve Bauer.
The BBC breakfast was another time that this happened, as viewers were horrified as sex noises drowned out the live podcast. Political correspondent Emma Vardy was outside Westminster completing a piece to camera on Brexit. So this was back in 2017 when the gaffe occurred.
I think putting the date and time into law is as much of a symbolic commitment as anything else.
If you're watching the news and you hear a sex sound blaze out of it,
They ain't gonna pick that up, trust me.
Come from us.
Go.
Just do it.
Go.
These arguments in the past. So will Lord Kerr's intervention, make any difference? Well, on the one hand, his arguments do add some to the government that there is still room for a U-turn, a possible rethink or even another referendum on Brexit. On the other hand, his intervention has caused some...
One more, go. Keep going.
That it is an absurd and pointless statement, and you always run the risk that by intervening on Brexit in this way...
Now, if this wasn't enough, after looking into this story, there's a third time that this happened, and it was on the BBC News at 10. I tell you, somebody is having fun over there.
Yeah, I know, and I wonder what kind of porn it was. BBC?
I will say that after that was a search that really did not go well at first when I was looking into this story, because if you mix those up, the words, if you put them in a different order, it's
tread lightly on the internet.
Yeah, just watch out for the image search on that one. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
How you doing there, buddy? You had something to
You
say?
hear something?
Yeah, I was trying to get everyone's attention because speaking of big meat, some lady in Ohio beat up her neighbor with a 10-pound package of ground beef. She picked it out of her neighbor's grocery cart and smacked her in the face with it. This neighbor had a restraining order on the other, so when they saw each other in grocery store, she let him have it.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
That's a meaty story right there.
All right, that is. Now you got to pick up your phone, Cam.
Yeah,
It's broken.
So,
Let's see if it's broken. Yeah.
is it broken?
Oh,
We're good. We're good.
All right, good.
All right, awesome. Yeah, weren't we just talking about that the other day, getting hit with like a 10-pound thing of meat?
Yeah.
And then the Cam stumbles across this. Cam, yeah, that's right.
Great story. Yeah,
Good
great
stuff.
story.
Beef it
yeah,
up.
I got a pretty good story here also. Boston woman, 32, breastfed her husband for 3 days during vacation after forgetting the milk pump at home. And I mean, as a new father, I can understand how the milk builds up. Not in me, but So this a woman left the internet stunned after revealing it. Why she revealed it, I have no idea. But hey,
Get some more followers.
this is Earth News. Janelle
He looks
Nicola-
extremely happy in that photo too. That's just for reference.
Yeah. Janelle McAloon, I don't know, said that she had to resort to such measure to ease the pain after she felt leaving her milk pump at home was terrible. The mother of 4 spoke out about the experience on TikTok, stating that desperate times call for desperate measures. She told her 586,000 followers.
From one man to another, desperate times call for desperate measures, and we do what we have to do.
So you know the part in your marriage vows, for better or for worse? Well, I had to take my husband up on that this last week. So we were in Puerto Rico, and as you know, I'm breastfeeding, and I just forget to pack my pump for whatever reason. So for 4 days we're in Puerto Rico, my boobs are like on fire. By like the first day, I'm like, Josh, I need you to help me out.
And he took that torch and he ran with it. And I'm sure it took all the effort in the world for him to go ahead and make that sacrifice.
God milk.
God milk. Wow.
I wonder if he was like eating cookies.
That poor man had to sacrifice that. Just unbelievable. Speaking of self-sacrifice, how about finding 700 pounds of acorns in your wall when you're trying to clean everything?
And that was impressive, that pile of acorns.
700 pounds of acorns were found in a wall in a California home. A pest control technician investigating an insect problem at a California home made a startling discovery. About 700 pounds of acorns have been stashed inside the wall by woodpeckers. Nick Castro of Nick's Extreme Pest Control, TM, expected to find a dead animal inside of the wall of a Glen Ellen home where the residents reported seeing maggots and mealworms emerging from a wall. Castro cut a small hole in the wall of the second-floor bedroom and was shocked to find the acorns pouring out from the opening. His colleagues discovered the acorns were piled about 20 feet high inside the wall. He estimated about 700 pounds of acorns were removed. He said he had investigated outside the home and discovered the woodpeckers had been poking holes in the chimney stack and had been stashing acorns in the openings for the past 2 to 5 years. He said the acorns eventually fell through the wall cavity. Wow, that's a lot of acorns. That's nuts. Hey.
Hey now.
Zingas.
That is pretty nuts. And who else is nuts? This crazy woman who was charged with posing as a high school student and attending classes for 4 days before getting busted. Hai Jean Shin, 29, was arrested in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Officials say she impersonated a minor and enrolled in the high school. And yeah, it's kind of crazy because I guess she was like trying to hang out with students, and she's being weird. And so some of the students told the news that they got text messages from the woman asking to hang out, making them fear she had ill designs. Some of the girls I know, the girl did ask them to hang out at Commercial Avenue, but they never showed up, and she started acting weird with them. One student said it's scary because you never know what could happen.
That's super weird.
Isn't that weird?
It's like, what was the Not Another Teen movie? Where it was, the woman comes in and she's like, oh, you want to pose as a high school student? It's just like 70-something years old.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, well, this is 29. I mean, she looks young, but like, what are there's some weird people in this world.
People.
And speaking of weird people, how about wearing the largest wearable cake as a dress at a Swiss expo? A Swiss baker earned a Guinness Book of World Record, a Guinness World Record at a wedding fair by creating the world's largest wearable dress made of cake. Now, the Guinness World Records announced that Natasha Colin Kimfali Focus of the Sweetie Cakes GmbH Bakery created the dress for the Swiss Wedding World Expo in Bern. The dress, which weighs 289 pounds and 13 ounces, was certified as the world's largest wearable cake dress, supported by the record-keeping organization. They posted a video to YouTube showing the cake being sliced while it's still being worn by the model at the fair. Now, this was another deep hole that I fell into. And apparently there are tons of wedding cake dresses that people wear around.
What?
Yeah.
What?
People are weird.
People are weird.
Like, you ready to cut the cake? Oh, yeah. Well, don't cut in too much because there's just her under there.
Right? People are
There's
eating,
no underwear. It's just her under there.
people are eating way too much cake. And you know what? That could be a problem if you plan on going to Universal Studios and riding the new Mario Kart ride.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about this?
I did.
Yeah, so apparently if your waist is over 40 inches, you can't fit inside some of it called blatantly fat phobic. And you know what? Universal Studios, the new Super Mario Nintendo World has not even opened and it's being called fat phobic. And you know what I think they should do? They should just have bigger seats like the Bowser carts. You know, or like the Donkey Kong cart, the Bowser cart. You know, if you're a little bigger, go in the bigger one.
Well,
you know?
I'm sure they had good intentions when shipping this over initially from Japan, which is probably where it came from, because that's where the Super Nintendo Land is in the first place. but nobody bigger than a 40-inch waist. Gotta tell you, after this past Christmas and Thanksgiving season, it's easy to start heading towards that way.
Right?
So
I know.
I might, but it will give people the intention to lose weight if they want to go on that ride.
Yeah, but
Or maybe, how about this?
Wedding cake dress is not going to help.
No, how about a booster seat?
Ooh.
Where it boosts up and you look even bigger.
Who knows? Some of those roller coasters, could take your head off.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
That's
It's a crazy run. It's a crazy run. Speaking of another crazy run, an emu recently escaped to get loose in Massachusetts on the streets of Brockton. The bird, named Mallory, was eventually subdued in a parking lot by her owner, police, and a bystander. The bird is an emu, which is the second tallest bird on Earth after the ostrich, and it got loose this past week in East Bridgewater and led police on the chase through Brockton. The bird's owner, Lee Flaherty, told the television station that a wild animal likely caused the emu to jump over a 6-foot-high fence and take off. Mallory was subdued, and she is back in her pen after the journey. She traveled past the Brockton Hospital, though. So everybody that was looking out their window probably saw something that they'll never see again.
Big bird running by.
Just a big bird.
Here's Mallory taken to the street here, as you can see. Look at her. Just a big bird wandering. She just took off. Yeah, that's a 6-foot-high fence she jumped over. There she is. Thinking about things running away, there was a white dog that apparently was adopted by coyotes in Nevada. They named him Ghost. And for the last few months, Ghost has roamed the desert in southern Nevada with a pack of coyotes. The coyotes accepted him as one of their own, and it's so funny you can just see him running with the coyotes here. Residents in Henderson spotted the dog running through their neighborhood at night, sometimes with the coyotes, as they played together for at least 6 months. So, in late January, rescuers were finally able to track Ghost, who they say was probably abandoned in the desert as a puppy amid the concerns over his health. It seems like he may have been put out there between 7 and 8 months, and somehow or another the coyotes just accepted him. He's pretty friendly, but apparently he has a lot of medical bills. So Ghost medical bills are more than $4,000. Jeez. An anonymous donor covered 1,000 of his care, Sandy said. He got some rocks in his belly because he was probably hungry and ate rocks. We're just going to watch those and hopefully they'll pass.
That's a tough pass right there.
What an interesting story, right?
It's a rocky end.
An animal who's rocky end. It's still adjusting to his new life, McMillan said. He is not crate trained. He is not leash trained. He doesn't sleep at night. He paces. He pants. Nighttime is really hard for him.
Hey, some more crazy news. German ballet director was suspended recently over a feces attack on one of her critics. So a German newspaper critic had animal feces smeared on her face in the city of Hanover by a ballet director who apparently took offense at the review that she wrote. It's a smear campaign. The Hanover State Opera apologized for the incident and said Monday that it was suspending ballet director Marco Gocki with immediate effect. The Daily Frankfurter, Allgemeine Zeitung, reported that a furious Gocki approached its dance critic, Wibby Husker, during the interview of her premiere at the Opera House on Saturday and asked what she was doing there. It said that the two didn't know each other personally. The newspaper said that Gocki, who apparently felt provoked by the recent review she wrote of a production he staged in the Dutch seat of government, The Hague, threatening to ban her from the ballet and accused her of being responsible for people canceling their season tickets. He then pulled out a bag and started the smear campaign. She smeared her face with the contents before making off through a packed theater foyer, the newspaper said. Identified the substance, and it was dog fecal matter. And she has since filed a criminal complaint. That's wild.
Can't make this stuff up, huh? Jeez.
It's a smear campaign.
It seems like it was premeditative smear.
100%.
You know, about poop attack. Yeah, and what's an episode of Earth News without a good Florida story, right? So
Oh, we need at least one.
Yeah.
Oh.
92-year-old Florida woman arrested after he refused to kiss her. Helen Staudinger had the hots for 53-year-old Dwight Bettner, but he didn't feel the same.
Oh.
When he told her as much, she picked up a semi-automatic and decided to fire at his house 4 times.
Whoa.
Thankfully, no one was hurt. Bettner could have been killed. It was a pistol, but as he told Rogers after the incident, if my head would have been just a little bit further, a bullet probably would have hit me in the back of the head. Luckily, the bullets missed him entirely, and he was okay. But yeah, she had a crush on him for a while, apparently.
Wow.
And
90-year-old woman taking shots.
he took out her trash a few times, just nice neighborly stuff for an old woman.
He was
But I
teasing her.
guess she took that as something else.
She took exception to that.
Um,
Don't play with emotions. You might get shot.
yeah, so be careful when being really kind to old ladies.
Yeah.
Not quite Florida, but Georgia, the Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, I can't quite remember, a 30-year-old man pretty much pulled off the Home Alone, as in whoopsie daisy, he was a wet bandit.
Oh.
He slipped on the ice and fell after trying to rob a place, and panicked, shot. No one got shot, but a bullet flew, so he ran away, slipped on the ice. Cops got him.
Oh, no. No, they're no longer the wet bandits. They're the sticky bandits.
I think you
Dang
got
it, Marv.
Yeah, Marv. I think you got a story about ice, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of ice, minor league hockey team actually forfeited a game after they didn't show up for their own home game.
Oh my God.
The fans filed into the rink for a minor league hockey game. Vendors sold their concessions, and the visiting team took the ice for warm-ups. The national anthem was played, and the officials were ready to drop the puck. There was just one problem. The home team wasn't there. The bizarre scene unfolded at what was supposed to be the Southern Professional Hockey League game in Danville, Illinois, between the visiting Quad City Storm and the host, the Vermilion County Bobcats. After a 2-minute delay of game penalty and a 5-minute waiting period, the game was declared a forfeit. The visitors tried to give fans their money's worth by inviting them onto the ice for what was supposed to be a post-game group skate before making the 3-hour drive home. It was a very weird weekend, Quad City President Brian Roethlisberger said. Certainly one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. There are now concerns that the last place Vermilion County, which has lost 77 out of 86 games in its 2 years of existence, will fold mid-season. That would reduce the number of teams from 11 to 10 in the SPHL, which is rung below the ECHL in the North American hockey hierarchy after the NHL and the American Hockey League. Multiple messages seeking details, clarification, and comment on the situation were sent to the league, the team, and the owner, Ellie Tully, were not returned. So it sounds like I got to go try out for this hockey team. Sounds better than a men's league.
Yeah,
They don't even show up to their own
That's
home
so
games.
funny. Oh my God.
I think we got time for one more.
Well, speaking about hockey, you know the Penguins?
Yep.
This has nothing to do with them, but it does have to do with the animal.
Oh.
The largest known penguin ever to water the earth was 340-pound behemoth.
Oh.
For more than 3 times the size of the largest penguin alive today, the massive flightless seabird swam in the oceans around New Zealand more than 50 million years ago. Scientists unearthed bones from this giant penguin, which they named Kumimanu fordycia. I don't know why they would name it that, but they did. And those of another new species on the New Zealand beach.
It's probably the genus.
Yeah, I don't know.
The species.
Don't like that genus.
The genus word.
Fossils provide us with evidence of the history of the life, and sometimes that evidence is truly surprising. Could you imagine that? Just a giant penguin. Like they're all cute, and then you get this huge tuxedo penguin coming up.
Whack. And you're like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Crazy. Well, this has been another crazy, earth-shattering edition of Earth News.
Yeah.
I'm Art Crandall.
I'm Brad Crandall.
And that's Cam on the cam.
Cam on the cam.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.